Hey, everyone. I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you have had an absolutely positively wonderful week. For those of you who are new to Mental Health Moment, we are here live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. For those of you who tune in every single Tuesday, welcome on back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. As you already know, we are here live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. And for those of you who are tuning into the replay of this on Dr. Nikisha Hammond YouTube page, be sure to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the page. So welcome. Thanks for joining here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. If you are new to Mental Health Moment, what in the world is Mental Health Moment all about? Mental Health Moment is all about how do you work on making yourself your number one priority so you can show up powerfully for yourself and for the people around you. So I don't know why my screen is so zoomed in today, but all good. Hold on, let me zoom out on my side. There we go. Okay. So nonetheless, so if you're new to Mental Health Moment, again, we're here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here live on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. And let me know in the comments here where you are tuning in from in the chat. As for myself, I reside in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. Last week, I'm trying to think what airport I was in. I think I was in Atlanta airport. The weeks kind of blur together. I'm pretty sure it was Atlanta. So last week, I wasn't able to be here with you all live. I try to be live for those of you who are new, like 95% of the year. But sometimes if I'm traveling or obviously in a plane, I cannot do Mental Health Moment live. But last week, hopefully you guys caught the recording. I was like literally walking through the airport trying to get to my flight. But I didn't want to miss you all. So hopefully you guys caught that. But I'm back. I am live today, y'all. So let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from today. London, UK is in the house. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining here. And again, Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Okay, so before I start today, I'm going to go through a couple of quick announcements, and then we'll start today's mental health moment. So my first super exciting announcement for you all. I've been sharing, I think the last couple of weeks, like I have an announcement, so I can finally share it. But my exciting announcement for you all, especially for those of you, well, for everyone, this is for everyone, but especially for those of you who have been here on Mental Health Moment, I feel like for years, this is actually year 10, y'all, which is crazy. It is crazy that I've been on this platform for 10 years. And shout out to Dr. Jackie King, who's a dear friend, who's just a phenomenal woman for having this platform and inviting me to be here. I'm very grateful to be here. But yeah, this is year 10, which is crazy. But nonetheless, so my exciting news is I wanted to invite each and every one of you all to the brand new Mental Reset community. So again, for those of you who have been here for years, I feel like sometimes I see the same names in the chat. It's just a way to basically continue the conversation, because what happens a lot of times is that I see you all every week, which I love. Of course, I've been seeing y'all for like a decade, literally. Some of you for many years on Mental Health Moment. And then I don't see y'all for like a whole another week. Right. So the community is designed to continue the conversation. So we'll talk in more detail about Mental Health Moment. But also there's practical tools in there, right? So a lot of what I share, if you're new to Mental Health Moment, I share a lot about how to prevent burnout, how to take care of yourself, how to have mental resets, right? Hence the Mental Reset community. So in order to join the community, you can go to it's on the screen here. Hold on, going to the right place. Takeyourmentalreset.com. You'll see at the very top of the page, it says join the free community. You can join the free community. And again, we will continue to have the conversations in there when it comes to mental health and wellness. Like I said, different practical, I think, easier things to do, quick things to do, right? And then, of course, we're going to continue the dialogue and just build community together, because a lot of you all, which, by the way, I appreciate, just ignore the little earring ones to fall out. Anyways, Anyways, I appreciate you all. A lot of times, even sharing in the comments with each other and just building community and the positive things that you share to one another are so beautiful to see. So we'll also be continuing that in the community as well. So again, let me know where you're tuning in from in case you're just now tuning in. You're like, what in the world is going on? I was sharing the new mental reset community. I'm inviting, it's literally brand new, y'all. There's only like a couple members in there, literally brand new. So the first time that I'm announcing and inviting you all to join, you can go to takeyourmentalreset.com. And again, top of the page, you'll see it says join free community. So hope to see you in there. But Orlando, Florida's in the house. Welcome. Virginia's in the house. Welcome back. Memphis is in the house. Welcome, welcome. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. The other announcement I have for you all is I'm trying to think where that link would be. I have a link that I wanted to share with you all. Oh, hold on one moment. Let me try to check it. I should have done that before live. So there's I told you all about this one before. Let me find the link real quick for you. Oh, is this it? Oh, I found it. Wow. Okay. There is an event that I will be speaking at next August 8th, Saturday, August 8th. So not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, which is crazy. Like the weeks are going too fast, you all. I feel like but anyways, there's an event I'll be speaking at. It is in near Detroit. It's called Troy, if you're familiar with Michigan. In Michigan, of course. And it's not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, August 8th. I would love for you all to be there. I'm going to put the link in the chat here. There are in-person tickets. It is open to the public. So, of course, as you all know, if I do have a speaking event that's open to the public, of course, I'll invite you all. If I have a private event, then unfortunately I cannot. But you're welcome to come in person if you're like, I am not going to be in the Michigan area, or you don't live there or don't plan to be there. There's also virtual tickets that are still available as well. I would love to see you there. Let me put I'm gonna put the link here in the chat. You do have to register. You do have to purchase the virtual ticket or in person, whichever one works best for you. But I'm super excited to be a part of that event. If you are on LinkedIn for some odd, crazy reason, I'm not sure why, my links do not go through in this chat. It only goes to Facebook and YouTube. I don't know why. I didn't make this platform. But what I'll do after the live is I will put the link for my LinkedIners. I'll put the link in there in case you're interested. So again, that's Saturday, August 8th. It's myself and a lot of incredible speakers that will be there for motivation, inspiration, educational, building community. A lot of great information will be there. So again, in person, there's in-person tickets or there's also virtual. So you can watch it wherever you're at in the world. Okay, I think those are my two announcements. All right. So and let me know, keep letting me know. Oh, thank you. Please let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. Again, if you're just tuning in or you're brand new to Mental Health Moment, I reside in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. Okay, so today's mental health moment. Let me start by asking you all a question. And I want you to be honest with yourself because, well, first of all, if you're new to mental health moment, this is a no judgment zone. So we're not judging here. The world will judge you. Maybe your brother, sister, mother, father, aunt, uncle, whomever around you is going to judge you. But here in the sacred space that we have called mental health moment, we're in the no judgment zone here, right? So be sure to write your honest answers in the chat for yourself. So the first question I want to ask you today is really thinking about, do you ever feel like you are carrying everything all by yourself? Right? So let me know in the chat. Yes or no. Do you feel like you are ever carrying everything by yourself? So let me know in the comments. And the reason why I asked this question today is because today I wanted to share with you a couple of tips and remind you that you do not have to carry everything alone. So if your answer is yes, it's all good. I'm not here to judge you. If your answer is no, great, right? Like we're all at different places in our mental health and wellness journey. Someone say yes in the chat. Very like again, just be honest with yourself. But I want to remind you a couple of tips today. The first one is to know that you do not it can feel that way, but you do not have to be strong all the time by yourself. Like you don't sort of a mindset to have, but it is possible for you to shift out of that mindset. Someone said in the chat, "No," with, like, I think it's, like, 3 exclamation points. "No." Okay. Someone else said, "Yes." And it's all good. Hi from Chicago's. Yes. Welcome, welcome. But it the reason why I ask you is because if you're not new to mental health moment, I talk a ton about self-awareness because it is extremely easy for us to be running around doing whatever we have to be doing, errands, doing things on our to-do list. Maybe we're taking care of people, trying to take care of ourselves. Like it's a lot. The world, it just things happen in the world, and on social media. So it's a lot, but it's extremely important that you are also checking in with yourself, right? I think yeah, I did talk about that last week as I was rushing through the airport, but I'm like, wait, I still got to check in with y'all. And I was trying to check in with myself too, right? If you missed last week's mental health moment, I was literally walking through the airport, like probably out of breath. I don't know how I sounded because I didn't watch it back, but I was probably out of breath trying to catch a flight. But nonetheless, but I do want to remind you, tip number one, for those of you for my note takers, also that you do not have to think that you have to be strong all the time by yourself, right? That is there's no award for that, right? Like that's almost like it's almost like struggle mentality sometimes to have that mentality like I got to do everything myself. I'm not going to accept help from anyone else. I'm so strong. I'm strong all the time. And don't get me wrong. We talk a lot also at Mental Health Moment about your strengths, right? We all have strengths, inner strengths, I mean. And it is great if you have resilience. We also talk a lot about resilience, right? It is great if you have resilience. It is fantastic if you're strong. However, you don't have to feel like you have to be strong all the time. Like that is exhausting to be in that mindset, right? Someone said, I feel that way in certain areas of my life. At work, yes, but I don't feel that way regarding my family. Beautiful. And I'm glad someone in the chat also, sort of mentioned sometimes we do feel like we're the strongest ones. We have to do everything by ourselves in certain settings, just like that person said, right? Sometimes for you, and maybe it's the opposite. Sometimes for you at home, whatever home looks like for you, maybe you have a family living there or not, or friends or whomever the situation is. And maybe in that environment, you're like, you know what? I have to do everything myself, which is also very exhausting. Or maybe it is in the work setting where you're like, everything falls on me, which may or may not be true. We all have different perspectives, but nonetheless, it is also about how do you sort of check in with yourself though to know that you don't have to have the mentality that I have to struggle, I have to be the strongest, I have to do everything myself. That's not that's not the mentality we're going for, right? I mean that's just it's not it's not the healthiest mentality for our mental health and wellness. And again, I want to preface, I feel like I've said this 400 times on Mental Health Moment, but it is a journey. Like everything that I share with you all each week, it is absolutely positively a journey, right? So, meaning if today, like a lot of you in the chat were like, yes, 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 I feel this way, it's all good. But take the time you need to take the steps to know that you don't have to right live this way. And what's also interesting about change, it's so funny how our brains are wired. I swear. I do this work, right? Like I live in this world um as a psychologist and just meeting different people and hearing all these stories. And it's always so fascinating to me that we think wrongly that just because we've lived a certain way, just because we've thought certain things, it could be for years, it could be for decades, like we thought a certain way. It's like we think we have to think that way forever. And it's like, no, we don't. Because sometimes, though, in all honesty, our brain will get stuck on a concept, right? So if your story you're telling yourself, your narrative, how you've been, because it's like, I've always been this way. I've heard that a gazillion times, right? That's who I know I am. Well, you can know you are certain things. And again, it is a strength to have mental resilience. I hope for each and every one of you, you're working on that. And also know though that you don't have to be strong every single day because it's exhausting. And it will lead to burnout if you're not taking care of yourself because you have the mindset, I'm strong, I can get through everything. I don't need anybody's help. I don't need anyone. That that will lead to burnout, right? It will become exhausting to continue on that path, right? Without taking the pause for yourself, right? Without saying sometimes it's what do they say? The cliche, it's okay to not be okay sometimes. It's okay to reach out to a friend, family member, coworker, whomever it is you need to support you. Like those things are okay. Right. So I really want you to recognize that today because you don't have to do this journey alone. And when I say alone, I don't mean necessarily a significant other. I mean whomever around you. Like there are supportive people in the world, right? Like those people, whoever those are for you. Again, it could be friends, family member, person at a place of worship, coworkers, whomever it is. Was and actually I'm gonna read some more of your comments. I see some of your comments coming in. But I will say also that this past Friday, I was speaking at this event. It was like a blended event. So it was partially like a church event, and also they had like different experts in different areas. So it was a beautiful event. But what was so fascinating to me was just being in that room. Like what was fascinating to me was to see the connections that even people were making. And it's not the first conference I've been to, but it's the one I recently spoke at. So it just stuck out. These like beautiful individuals that were just connecting with one another, strangers, right? Just connecting with one another. Just like being uplifting to one another, getting to know one another, right? Like, so it's like, and it doesn't have to necessarily be at a conference. That's just where I just came from a couple of days ago. But I mean, there are many people throughout the community that there's people that you haven't even met yet in your lifetime that may be just a huge source of motivation, inspiration, uplifting to you, right? So make sure, again, I always say this, but again, surrounding yourself with those people and knowing, like allowing yourself to like be in community with people, right? Like that's really, really important. Someone said, there are times in my life when I feel this way. Fortunately, I have a good support system around me. Very good. Oh, that was our earlier question about if you've ever felt like you're carrying everything all by yourself. And someone said, yes, sometimes in my life I do feel this way, but fortunately, I have a good support system around me. And that, well, I just talked about that. It's funny because that came up, but it really, really goes a long way. I mean, I could get on my soapbox about the research that's out there too, right? So I'm not just spewing this from like feel good land, but there's so much research well about how important it is to have a good support system. And again, it it doesn't matter what category they're in. It most matters of like how connected are you with these, maybe it's a group, right? Maybe you're a member of something, right? And like what is their positive effect on you? Like those things are very, very important. So if you're not a part of a group or again, family, friends, or whomever around you, then that's your homework. All right. Assignment is to find those said groups. Hi from Nigeria. Welcome. Beautiful. Someone said, I'm the president and CEO for Veterans Counseling. Veterans, beautiful. Thank you so much. I am in Central Florida. Welcome. Portland, Oregon's in the house. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, yeah. Someone said, my wife's mother has Alzheimer's and stage 4 cancer. Wow. She lives in Orlando, definitely exhausting emotionally and physically. My role is to be a supporter. Yeah. First, yes, amazing that you recognize two things. First of all, amazing for you being a supporter. Shout out to you. But also it is important to recognize, like you said, like that you shared, thank you for sharing with the community that it can be exhausting emotionally and physically. The reason why it's important, I think I've said this on every mental health moment too, but I'm gonna say this again, especially for my new people here. The reason why it is important for you to even understand that, like, hey, this is emotionally and physically exhausting, is that it is really hard to make change when you're not aware of what is going on with you. Right. So for you to know this is happening, and I mean, that sounds obviously very stressful, right? And what toll is it taking on you? And you're doing, it sounds like, I don't know you, but it sounds like you're doing your best to support, right? You're supporting a spouse, you're supporting a mother-in-law, like that's a lot. So So, and this is for everyone, definitely listening, is to really make sure, especially there's a ton of research also about caregivers and that sort of thing and the stress level. Make sure that you are aware of what stress level, what season you're in. I always say, I think that was the theme for this year so far on mental health moment is checking in, like, what season are you in? Are you in a yes season? Are you in a no season? Are you in a dark season? Are you in a like, a harvest season? Like everything's going right. Like we're all at different points in our path. And I'll say, and I'll get off my soapbox and go to the next tip. But and also please be very aware of social media, you all. There's so many pros and cons with social media, but the one thing that I get concerned with is how there's such a like comparison syndrome, if you will, right? Because you could be in your dark season and you're looking at everything happening around you. You're hearing stories, you're looking at social media, you're like, everyone has a perfect life, which is not true at all whatsoever. Please, please, please remember that is someone's highlight reel. Okay. So I think they call it doom scrolling too, when we just go through and see, and then our moods go down and all these sort of things. So just be aware of that. If you're in that season, be aware of the comparison trap. I'll call it that, right? A comparison trap of going through and like, oh, look at what everybody else has. No, just be in your level of self awareness. What do they say? Run your own race, right? Um, and make sure that you're taking care of you and whatever whomever that you care about around you, right? Like that's your focus versus like what is happening in everyone's highlight reel. Hi from Pennsylvania. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Thank you for this message. You're welcome. Hi everyone. Welcome, welcome. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. If you're just tuning in, I love when the comments work and I can actually see you all's comments. Sometimes I cannot see you all's comments, and I apologize. It's just this platform. Sometimes I never know. So I get excited when I can actually see you all's comments. But if you're just tuning in, we're talking today about how you do not have to go through this journey called life alone, right? And what I mean by that is making sure that you understand you do not have to be strong all the time. I do everything myself. Like that type of mentality can be one of the things that very much leads to burnout. That leads to you being stressed out and overwhelmed, and then nothing gets done because you shut down in some way, emotionally, physically, or or mentally, right? Like that. That is a real thing that can happen. So I'm going to share another tip with you all today. To just remember that um, I kind of shared this before, but I'll reiterate that you really have to be intentional about the spaces you're in. So if you're new to mental health moment, we talk a lot on mental health moment about self-care, about burnout prevention, about mental resets. Um, and also being intentional. So that's my second tip for you all today. And just being intentional about the spaces you're in, right? Like where is it that's draining your energy and where is it that's giving you energy? Because sometimes we I don't know, we get into habits sometimes and we don't realize things because we're just on like autopilot. Like if you've ever driven a car before and like you get somewhere, maybe it's like a place 10 minutes down the road, and then you're like, how did I get here? Right? You're like, I know I drove here. Like you remember leaving, right? You remember getting to the place, but you have no idea how you got there. That's because your brain was just on autopilot. You might have been thinking about 400 other things instead of your drive because you knew you were going, right? So it's the same thing, that kind of autopilot. We get into that sometimes in life, and then we forget to take the pause and look around and be like, wait a minute, these situations are really draining my energy, or these individuals are really uplifting me and helping me in life, right? Like where is that at for you? So again, things for you to be thinking about, and you don't have to answer all these questions necessarily today, but I really want you to think through this week, like, okay, who is it, what is it that's draining my energy, and who is it, what is it that is giving me energy? Those things are important. And again, sometimes the things or people that are draining your energy, it might not be a snap of a finger and you just say, okay, I'm just not going to be around that person anymore. It might be your coworker, which you can't necessarily control, right? But we can always control our reaction. That's a whole nother mental health moment. But just first be in the practice of being aware. You would be very surprised when you really do get into the practice of being mentally aware of things. You're like, oh, you have these like aha moments and you're like, oh, okay. And then you can start to work on changing different things. One thing at a time though, right? Um, Okay. So before I get my last tip, my last wrap up tip today, I do want to remind you all, for those of you who came in a little bit later, about the new mental reset community, which I'm so excited to share with you all. So it's at takeyourmentalreset.com. Takeyourmentalreset.com. You can go there. Again, it's a free community. And it's basically an extension of Mental Health Moment. This is year 10, which is crazy, of me doing this with you all. And just, I love hearing your stories. I love meeting each and every one of you from like all over the globe, literally. Great, super grateful to Dr. Jackie King, who created this platform, and allowed me to be on here for 10 years. I'll have to like call her afterwards and remind her it's been 10 years. Um, but super grateful to her, and definitely want to continue the conversation with you all though, because sometimes, again, what happens is we finish the live and then it's like, I'll see you next week. And then I don't know, a lot of things happen in a week. So on that community, when you sign up, there are just really what I call take a minute. We've talked about that a lot, but just things for you to remember how to take the mental reset. So there's practical tools, there's resources. We'll be in community with each other, having conversations, talking about in more detail about mental health moments. And yeah, it's a brand new community. So there's only a couple members in there. So you guys are basically founding members who join. But yeah, we'll take it from there. And again, my goal for each and every one of you is for you to really, this is why I've been on Mental Health Moment for a decade, but to really understand that you can change your mindset, you can change your mental health and wellness. And it really does start with being intentional, having the self-awareness, and taking the steps. And sometimes it's baby steps, and that's okay. So again, takeyourmentalreset.com. Check it out at the very top of the page. It'll say join the free community. So you can join there. Okay. Last tip for you before I wrap up today. The last tip is we talked about, obviously, sort of being intentional, looking at what drains you, looking at what uplifts you, right? What are those things? Who are those people? And then the last thing is also to be super intentional about finding people who remind you, who those people are in your life, right? The people that remind you to take that pause before burnout starts for you, like whoever that is. Each of us, I feel like, has someone, hopefully most of us, I would say, has someone in our life that'll be like, okay, hold on, like make sure you're taking care of yourself. Maybe that's your auntie, your uncle, your grandparent, your parent, your coworker, your best friend, significant other, whomever that person is, right? Make sure you have some type of accountability partner. It doesn't have to be in those categories. I was just giving you some examples, but make sure you also have some type of accountability partner, someone who will be like, you know what, I got you. I see you look a little stressed out. You know what I mean? And for some of you, it might be a therapist. All good, right? But some person in your life that will be that person to be like, up, I see you're getting a little overwhelmed. You need to make sure you're practicing your self care, or I need to make sure that you're taking the time that you need for you, or I need to make sure, right? Like you're doing some sort of healthy habits, like those individuals. Make sure that you're being intentional about spending the time that you need with those people. And also, yeah, someone said be aware of blind spots. Yes, that's actually good. You know what? That's actually good. That person that said that. I would also say there, it's, yes, be aware of blind spot, but it's hard sometimes because they're blind spot. They're called blind spots for a reason. But that same person, whoever came up for you, that same person also typically is very good at helping you with your blind spots as well, right? So there's things that we don't, sometimes we don't know what we don't know. You know what I mean? Like you could be like, okay, like I'm doing fine, and then like I said, whoever it is, the positive person in your life is like, wait a minute, you haven't, you haven't been eating well, or I know you haven't been sleeping well, or you're really stressed out, or I don't, whatever the case is, right? Like they see that in you, and then they make you aware of that, right? That person is extremely important too, right? So yeah, that's good to be aware of blind spots. I love that too. So okay, so those are my tips for y'all today. So again, as I wrap up here, I wrap up here on today's mental health moment. Want to remind you, you absolutely positively do not have to do this journey alone. Whether you need your friend, coworker, person at a place of worship, neighbor, therapist, family member, whomever, right? Whomever the the people are, make sure that you're staying connected, right? Make sure you're working. Many of you said yes at the beginning of the live that sometimes you really feel like you're taking everything on by yourself, but taking even sometimes the mental baby steps to be like, okay, I don't have to do this journey alone. Sometimes it's just saying that to yourself. And you don't, let me tell you, you don't necessarily even have to believe it at first because sometimes depending on how embedded your, kind of your thoughts are, it could take more time. Like you might tell yourself that and be like, I don't believe that. Right? And that's okay. But just keep telling yourself that. Keep working on training your brain until the point where your brain says, you know what? Okay. Like, right? Like there some for most of us, is a point where your brain's like, okay, all right, right. And there may be certain circumstances, maybe not with everything. Some of you said even that this happens in certain like in certain areas of your life, right? So it might be in the area of family, or it might be in the area of work, or it might be in the area of yourself. Like just certain parts of you that are like, no, I have to do this on my own. Right. So taking the baby steps, maybe it's just certain areas you have to do that, which is all good. Um, yeah, someone said, I do agree on staying connected for accountability. Thanks for the reminder. Absolutely. If there, there's, gosh, I know we see a lot in the news and like everything's horrible, the world's falling apart. Like it's okay. But also, but also, I'm a true believer that there's a lot of good people in the world. Cause I have met so many amazing people in the world, like just phenomenal people. I'm like, wow, you're amazing. Right. Like, so I know they exist, but no, they really do exist for you too. So remember that. So again, that person that's like, "Hey, you said you were gonna go walking." That person, right? You said you were gonna work on whatever it is you were trying to work on in your life to be a better version of you, like that person, right? Your accountability partner. Make sure you stay connected with them. Okay, so I really am wrapping up. All right. So I'm wrapping up today's mental health moment. Again, I will be back. Thank you all, by the way, again, for all your comments. I'll be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Also, takeyourmentalreset.com. If you want to join the free community, I'll be so excited to see you all there in the new community. But I'll be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here live on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. Be blessed. Have an amazing week. And I will see you all next week. Bye, guys.